Hello everyone, and welcome to Elliot and the Evil Sorcerer. Written by Rylan Mason and narrated by me, Brian Shepard. Episode 4. The Beginning of Nothing. I'm sorry, but is there a reason why we can't just portal to see my father, now that we're here? Elliot asked, as they made their way through the woods. The woods were very dense, yet most trees stood so tall, most branches didn't begin until after Elliot's head, making it easier to hike through. Casting a portal takes a lot of my energy, Elliot. So it looks like we're hoofing it. Unless you would like to try, Allie responded sarcastically. Elliot remembered he possessed the power to create a portal. However, never really tried, as graduating college came first. That's what I thought, Allie said as she caught him rolling his eyes. She won. Yet now he wondered if going to college was worth it, now that his mate was the Fey King, who lives in a palace, or will again. Hoofing it, Derek said, as his head was tilted looking at Allie. Allie and Elliot both just laughed. Walking through the woods seemed to take forever, considering how vast the realm's wooded area really is. As they kept moving, all Elliot could think of is the movie The Wizard of Oz. You know, when Dorothy and her friends are walking through the dark woods, and then it's bam, attack of the flying monkeys. Looking above him, he snorted, causing Derek to turn to him. I'll ask later what has you snickering, he said with a grin. Elliot then stopped, causing the other two to do the same. What is it? Allie asked, as she looked at him in confusion. Elliot was busy listening. Listening to what, he wasn't sure. It's quiet. Too quiet, he said in a low tone. It was too quiet for Elliot, except the raven, who for the moment was just perched and was watching. Thinking nothing of it, they continued forward as there really wasn't anything to be heard. Yet it felt like something was off. In the movie, it's the Wicked Witch's flying monkeys. Here, that might not be the case. That's when Elliot's senses kicked in and smelt what was like a dog. Okay, so not a monkey. Coming in from the left. Right at Derek. Derek, something's coming in to your left, Elliot warned, as they all turned and waited to see what it was that was coming. It's a dire wolf. I can smell its dirty breath. Stay back, Derek yelled, as the wolf leapt up into the air and landed on Derek, pinning him to the ground. The wolf was clawing and biting as both Allie and Elliot watched from behind. Allie, counter me, is what Elliot said, as he sent fire from his hands blasting towards the wolf, knocking him back and off Derek, while Allie froze it in place. That would be enough time to get Derek out of there. Helping Derek to his feet, you could see the huge gash across his chest, stitching itself back together, as the bleeding also came to a stop. Must be nice to have quick healing. As soon as Derek was on his feet and away from the dire wolf, who was looking around with his dark red eyes, Elliot looked at Derek. Get ready. I'll let you finish him, he said as Derek nodded. Elliot again sent huge flames of fire towards the wolf, breaking the ice that held it in place. As soon as enough fell, Derek was quick to punch a hole in its chest and pull out its heart. The dire wolf instantly turned to ash. Interesting, Allie said, as all three just stood there in amazement as to what just happened. I'm assuming it wasn't supposed to turn to ash? Elliot asked out loud, considering Allie's comment. No, indeed not. That and a dire wolf would never attack without cause. That was some sort of dark creature. To turn to ash after I take its heart? It should have been lying here, dead, Derek replied. Which he was right. It was conjured up. Someone sent it. Let's keep moving. We can't be that far, Allie suggested, as they all started to get back on track and move ahead. All Elliot could do now was think about Ulrich and where he might be. Why not just tell him? Why have to seek someone else just to get the answer? Ulrich was communicating with Elliot using the Florian. You would think he would just simply say, "Here I am. I'm right here in this spot. Come get me. Yes, I'm waiting." Nothing. Walking through the forest took about another 2 hours before they came to the beginning of large fields. Fields that should have been full with crops, yet all they saw was withered up corn stalks and dirt blowing in the breeze. Gazing out beyond the fields was the same. No life at all. Why, it looks like a deserted wasteland. No crops, no water, no nothing, Derek said in shock as they all continued to walk through the fields. The fields gave the realm much-needed food that was then traded to the others. Not every person here in the realm of kingdoms was paranormal. Humans were also living here and have been for generations as to the need of food. Humans have always been part of the realm, as most paranormals were finding mates among them. The chances of a paranormal bonding with another paranormal was unheard of and extremely rare. Not only would the pair both possess their own distinctive powers, yet they would also gain those of their mate, doubling, if not tripling, the powers each would have. This would have Lord Ovidian very worried. Coming out of what would have been plentiful fields, they came across the road. All three could start to sense humans down the road. Only about 4. If memory serves me right, we should be on the right road. Yet I'm surprised there are not more people out today, as this is the main road. I don't like this, Derek said, as they all made their way up the road, cautiously looking for anything that might spell trouble. Elliot was the first to point out the family on the side of the road, cart with a broken wheel, it seemed. Yet as they got closer, Elliot could see fear on their faces. The children looked frightened, while the mother started to grab them and run to the other side of the cart. The father just stared off into the woods across the street. "John, quickly," the woman said, trying to get her husband to move. Elliot's attention was drawn to the raven, who happened to be flapping its wings while perched once again in the trees. Allie was the first to notice the black mists floating around with red eyes. She's dealt with these before. Screechers. Screechers were mist-like creatures made up of dark magic. Only purpose? To rip your heart out. And when going after it, they made a loud screeching sound. Elliot was more worried about the children. Looking down at the little girl next to him, he could see almost in slow motion as her hands went up to her nose while her face scrunched. Oh no, he thought, not now. All it took was a sneeze from the little girl, which was then followed by a horrible sound of screeching. There were about a dozen that could be seen floating through the trees, eyes locked on Elliot and the rest. As they gathered together to protect the stranded family, Allie was quick to cast a barrier spell to repel them long enough to devise a plan. As the bubble came down and surrounded them, the screechers were there, trying everything to get at them. Elliot just stood there, eyes closed as he imagined making it to safety of his father. The screeching stopped, and all Elliot heard were sudden gasps and whispers. The gasps and whispers were cut short. "What is the meaning of this intrusion?" a voice roared as Elliot's eyes shot open to find himself and the others standing in what looked like a throne room with people all around. And there, sitting on his throne, was Elliot's father, King Arias. "Forgive the intrusion, Your Majesty," Derek said while keeping his head down. Elliot just stared at the man, noticing his eyes going from blood red to black. A look of confusion and excitement is what Elliot saw on his father's face. "Elliot? It can't be," Arias said as he got up out of the huge throne and began to walk down the few steps, stopping in front of Elliot, while Derek and Allie remained silent. The family also didn't quite understand what was happening. "It is you. Why are you here? What's happened? Where is your aunt?" he asked as Elliot just continued to stare in awe. His father was the king of the warlocks, a tall man, at least 6'2" to Elliot's 5'11", strong, with hair that flowed just a ways past his shoulders, black like a crow. However, with his kingly robe, jewelry, and his crown, Elliot could now understand why people knew him as a justly and fair king. He absolutely looked the part. "Father, I believe we need to talk," is all Elliot managed to get out before collapsing on the floor. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to pause for a second and let everyone know that besides Elliot and the evil sorcerer, I'm also going to be starting the third installment of On the High Seas, which is going to be Lost on the High Seas. I just wrapped up Love on the High Seas, and if everyone remembers, the first one was Fear on the High Seas. So we're going to be bouncing back and forth from warlocks and vampires to a Caribbean cruise ship. So I don't even know how I do it. But yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know. So there's going to be updates happening soon to my website, which is rylandmason.com. There's a lot of information up there, but there's also a lot of outdated information. So I have to start updating that, so give me time for that, only because I've been busy writing and getting ready for the next book and having the graphic designer, create these fantastic covers. It's a nightmare, but it's totally worth it. So we have that to look forward to. I want to thank everyone for listening to all of my stories that I come up with. Don't forget, I take suggestions from people who love to listen to me and love the stories. So if you have an idea or you want to become a character or something, let me know. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, the website, rylandmason.com. Go there, talk to me. All right, let's continue with Elliot and see what happens. Elliot's eyes finally opened, and as they did, he was trying to make sense of where he was. Sitting up on the bed, Elliot could see he was in some sort of bedroom. Lying in a lush 4-poster canopy bed with comfortable fur blankets and a lot of soft and firm pillows. Tables, nightstands, paintings hung on the walls, which were illuminated by the flickering flames of the candles. Until his roaming eyes fell upon a figure sitting in the corner. "You are awake." "Good," a deep male voice said, as they stood up from the chair. Walking over to the side of the bed, Elliot could see it was his father. "No need to tell me what happened, as Derek and Allison filled me in. What I want to know is who is on the other end of the Florian." Thanks so much for listening, guys. We'll catch you for episode 5.